Welcome back and thanks for watching. I'm Aaron Leedy. Well, the community holding their apartment complexes accountable after trash was piled up at another complex in Macon, putting their health and living conditions at risk. Jayla Whitfield was notified about the problem and investigated that issue today. She joins us live now. Jayla, what'd you find out?
Well, this isn't the first time that a resident in Macon has had this problem. Just 10 days ago, the Manchester at Wesleyan had the same exact problem in their backyard looking like a landfill. And now the Kingston Garden Apartments are facing the same exact issue. Management tells me they're in the process of getting the problem fixed, but residents want to know if they have to live in these conditions. I sat down with attorney Shannon Mills to find out.
The residents to really look at their lease, because depending on what it states in their lease, they may have an option where they can terminate the lease early, or there may be a clause in the lease that if the landlord isn't fulfilling their responsibilities, then they might be able to terminate the lease.
Now, Mills says even though you're paying for a service that may not be being fulfilled, don't just leave because it will cause a bigger problem. Now, you can contact Georgia Legal Services if you're facing any of these issues. That number can be found at the bottom of the screen. But for now, live in the control room, Jayla Whitfield.
And right now, there have been at least 20 illegal dumpings found in Albany. Just at the beginning of the month, one woman was issued a citation for an illegal dumping in East Albany. The house had a large amount of debris in the front yard, including couches and other household items. There were also 3 dogs and at least 1 cat on the property. And city officials say homes like these need to be reported by people in the community as soon as they're spotted.
We count on our citizens to be our eyes and ears. We can't be everywhere and see everything. And so when you see something like this, you need to pick up the telephone and make a call and make government aware of it.
The Albany Police Department and the Humane Society were called in to take care of the pets, and people in Southwest Georgia who see an illegal dump site can call 311. And if people are caught illegally dumping, they can be fined up to $1,000 as well as a number of community service hours. Authorities say a police officer shot a man and tried to use his stun gun against him. Dalton police say that shooting happened today in front of a Sunoco business. Officers responded to reports of a person behaving erratically, running in and out of traffic. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says David Schmidt attacked the officer and obtained his stun gun. The officer then shot Schmidt. Both are listed in stable condition. A new court date has been set for a Georgia man accused of killing his girlfriend and 3 children. Trevane Jackson has been charged with the deaths. Officials believe he is the father of the children. A welfare check led authorities to discover their bodies on July 17th. Jackson was charged last year with battery for assaulting his girlfriend, and the case was still pending when she was killed. Jake?
Meteorologist Jake Mamman in for Chief Meteorologist Jeff Cox this evening. Albany's almanac today, we hit 92 degrees here in Albany today, which is really not even close to about 100 degrees set back in 2010. That was the record. So we're near average here and plenty of rainfall there in Southwest Georgia. And for Middle Georgia here in Macon, we hit a high of about 94 degrees today. Again, not anywhere close to the record high of 102 degrees set back in 1983. So again, we're around average and of course doing fairly okay on the monthly rainfall here in Middle Georgia. Now, the big picture, the next setup for the next 2 days, we're talking about the cold front that's draped across portions of the United States that will begin to make its way to the south as the jet stream from the north starts to dip to the south, bringing this cold front into portions of middle and southwestern Georgia tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, okay? And with that will come cooler temperatures. In fact, I'm talking about the cooler temperatures coming up. The storm chases we could see here in portions of middle Georgia and southwestern Georgia, and I'll have an update on the tropics coming up in just a few minutes. Aaron?
We're following several developing stories happening right now in Honduras. Immigrants are being returned each day from Mexico, but some of those sent back say they're undeterred and will head north again. There are tens of thousands still trying to enter the U.S. Now, last year, caravans of Central American migrants marched towards the U.S. border. They began drawing some worldwide attention. The Trump administration's approach to immigration has since intensified with efforts to build a wall. And despite being a sanctuary city, a report reveals Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been deporting thousands out of Oakland, California. The report shows from 2010 to last year, ICE chartered nearly 1,000 flights out of the airport, flying nearly 43,000 detained people in and out of Oakland. Fox's Lee Martinez has that story tonight.
The city of Oakland has continuously strengthened its sanctuary city policies over the past 3 years, and Mayor Libby Schaaf made national headlines when she made a public warning that she had knowledge of upcoming immigration and customs enforcement sweeps. But a report by Bay Area News Group reveals a different story happening at the Oakland International Airport. That from 2010 to 2018, ICE chartered nearly 1,000 flights out of the airport, flying nearly 43,000 detained people in and out of Oakland.
Individuals who are picked up by ICE are often shipped out of this country in a matter of hours, and they don't have the ability to appear before a judge in many instances. So it's really, really important that we do everything that we can to ensure that there's transparency with respect to the process.
Local immigration advocates, such as the California Collaborative for Immigrant Justice, say this appears to be a clear violation of Oakland's sanctuary city policy.
I think this speaks to a larger issue with respect to what level of cooperation our cities, counties, and governments are going to have with policies that are essentially violating human rights. Individuals who are being moved out of the country rapidly and often being denied the opportunity to speak to attorneys or access to counsel are having their human rights and due process rights violated.
The Port of Oakland oversees the airport. Private companies chartered the flights, which lease the runways from the Port of Oakland. KTVU reached out to the mayor's office to find out what city officials knew about the flights. A spokesperson for the mayor's office wrote in an email, quote, "The mayor's office is looking into this matter as this issue is of great interest to the mayor and our Oakland values. We are currently looking into this activity to understand it and address it." The Bay Area News Group reports that almost 27,000 people were deported and another 16,000 were transferred to holding facilities by way of the Oakland airport.
It's up to ICE to ensure that due process takes place for everyone in this country, across the board. The onus and the responsibility is on ICE to ensure that that's taking place.
We reached out to ICE to find out how it coordinated its flights and why eventually ended them from the Oakland airport. In an email, an ICE spokesperson replied, quote, "ICE made an internal operational decision to discontinue the use of charter flights out of Oakland in October of 2018. ICE coordinates flight operations on a case-by-case basis. The agency does not share specific logistic details pertaining to detainee transfers," end quote. In Oakland, Lee Martinez, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
We have a failing shelter system, a failing mental health system, and a failing housing system.
Homeless crisis is steadily worsening in California. Why you may start to foot the bill to fix it, even if you don't live there.